What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into the Wednesday morning edition of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. We're here every morning on BettingPros.com, wherever you get your audio podcasts, and on YouTube as well with the video. If you guys would like to use the BetMGM offer, by now you should know it. $10, win $150, any event. Use that promo code JUICE150 at BetMGM.com, wherever BetMGM is available. BetMGM application as well. Juice150, that's how we get credit for you guys listening to the Daily Juice Podcast. I know a lot of you guys are turning us back on. I'm getting all these DMs from people on Twitter and Instagram and in the Discord channel. It's been a while, Matt. I've been, I've been here. I've been around, and I haven't had a chance to really connect with you. And yeah, hi, welcome back into the Daily Juice. It's football season. I totally understand it. All right, so 0-1 yesterday, losing day. The Tampa Bay Rays came, like 5-6 inches from a bases loaded, probably bases clearing double in the bottom of the ninth inning that would have won the game for us, unfortunately. And I made the bet based upon the bullpen for the Blue Jays blowing it, and they almost did it. So unfortunately, that did not come in. Rays lose, Blue Jays win, 0-1, half a unit down for the day yesterday. Not a big deal. Not really stressing about it. But I'm not betting baseball today, okay? It's just there's like 12 games left in the regular season. I'm just going to wait for the playoffs. I might get involved one or two times. But today, I'm going to give you 2 UFC bets and my first college football play of the weekend. I'm going to get a little exotic, and I'm going to go against what most people probably think is going to happen, which I'm okay with. I'm going to kind of buck the trend a little bit here, go on my own, go out on a limb and make some bold predictions today with my money. And maybe it blows up in my face and maybe it all comes burning down, but why not? Let's go. Let's have some fun here. I will be at UFC 266 at T-Mobile Arena on Saturday night. So I will be there for Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. I'll tell you what I think about that fight coming up, and also the Robbie Lawler fight taking on a Nick Diaz that is like, what are we doing? Like, why is this guy fighting? So more on that here in just 1 second. But just so you guys are aware of what's going to be happening, it's going to be a really crazy and wacko weekend for me. And I got all sorts of things going on. I've got people coming into town this weekend. So, I may not be on the Discord channel as much as I normally would be. We will still do the Discord bet. We will still do the Circa Million conversation. I'm going to be at Circa. I might actually do the Circa Million conversation at Circa, which could be kind of interesting. But I'm going to be there and hanging out with David Behrman, who is this week's guest, by the way, on the Sharps Report. If you have not gone and listened to it, please go and do so. It's really cool. It's a lot on the Bad Beat segment on ESPN, on the starting of ESPN sports gambling content and where ESPN is going in the future when it comes to sports gambling content with ESPN Chalk. So go search the Sharps Report where you get your podcasts. The video should be out probably like Thursday or Friday. It normally takes a couple days to get the video fully chopped up, edited up, and out on the YouTube channel for Betting Pros, but the audio is out right now for David Behrman and I's conversation, and he's coming here for the Dolphins game against the Vikings. He's a big against the Raiders, against the Vikings. Where'd I get that? The Dolphins against the Raiders. He's a big Dolphin fan, so he's coming out to watch the game, and so we're going to hang out and watch some college football together on Saturday at Circa. So I don't know what will be happening on Saturday. It's a very busy day on Saturday, watching football and then going to the fights on Saturday night. My wife is already really angry at me for, I'm not going to be home at all on Saturday, but, it is what it is. So that's all happening coming up today, or this week, rather. Just a heads up on what we're doing, okay? So let's start with the college football bet. Then I'll get to the 2 UFC plays. This is a 1-unit bet, okay? I have been adamant telling you guys, I've been on my radio show. There's actually a promo running on our network for me telling everybody, do not buy points, do not buy points in college football. So what do? I bought a half a point tonight. Okay, Oklahoma at home against West Virginia. The line is 16.5. It opened up at 19.5, all right? I waited too long. I was watching it and I was waiting, watching it and waiting, and it went to 16.5. And tonight it went to 16.5, and I went, crap, I got to get back to 17, all right? So here is the bet. Oklahoma is averaging 46.3 points per game. Virginia's averaging 39 points per game. Both teams are averaging 17 points per game being given up. The total yardage, 487.3 to 412. Total yards allowed, 319.3 to 306.7. Six giveaways rather for West Virginia, 2 takeaways. They are upside down, -4 in the turnover margin. 2 giveaways for Oklahoma, 7 takeaways for the Sooners. Here is my problem with Oklahoma, and this game is either going to go spectacularly bad for us, meaning Oklahoma wins this thing like 45-10, and we're totally dead, or this thing comes down to the final possession, and Oklahoma's trying to drive to win the game. It's one of the two, okay? And maybe we get a backdoor. Maybe it's like a 34-17 type game, and we get a backdoor push or a backdoor cover. That's why 16.5, where it is right now, DraftKings is at 16.5, Vegas had books at 16.5. I bought it to 17 at -125 odds, so not that bad, okay? It's not like buying from 3.5 to 3, where it's 100, it's -140 or something like that. I just think 17 is a very important number, and so I bought it to 17, just in case, because the Sooners have only covered one big spread so far this season, and I'm just not confident in Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler was supposed to be the frontrunner for the Heisman. He hasn't looked good. He's looked like a cocky dude who thought he was going to walk into this award. And, man, you're talking about a team that just struggled to score against Nebraska. Illinois did whatever the hell they wanted to against Nebraska. And Illinois was at home. So was Oklahoma. And what? Because of a rivalry Nebraska's defense is decent. I'll give you that. But Spencer Rattler hasn't looked good against Tulane. Didn't look good against Nebraska. Western Carolina. I'm really going to be impressed by that win. I don't know how good this Sooner team is. I'm being honest. I think Rattler is totally overhyped. There was a guy on my radio show who works for 24/7 Sports, and he thinks that there's better quarterbacks on the bench at Oklahoma right now than Spencer Rattler. And this guy is supposed to be he's supposed to be the next first-round pick out of Oklahoma. And everyone he's talking to, all the NFL scouts he's talking to are like, yeah, no, this is not the guy. They're not in love with him. They don't love his arm. They don't think he's that good of a quarterback. And here we go with West Virginia coming in, and they got the win they had to get. They got the win over Virginia Tech last weekend. They were lucky to do it, but they got the win. They come into this game with a ton of confidence. And I totally get that when you look at the betting so far, historically on this game, it's been kind of wacko with how much the points that are normally scored in this game. You got Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit who are going to be there. It's a night game in Norman. There's just going to be all sorts of crazy environment going into this. West Virginia is 5-3 in Big 12 conference openers. Oklahoma is 18-7 when opening up league play. I don't think West Virginia is going to win this game, but I think West Virginia could have a drive late in the fourth quarter where they could make this a game. And I also think they could backdoor this. I also think it's possible with 17 points they could backdoor this, because I don't trust Oklahoma at all to play 4 quarters. I think there is enough offensive weapons with West Virginia to keep this thing close, and I think their defense is somewhat opportunistic. I know that the Sooner fans want a big number. They want to see this, and they want to see a complete blowout. But, they're undefeated. I understand that. But, man, Maryland did throw the ball all over them. Vatek did throw the ball all over them. But this is a high-scoring game, all right? And I think Rattler might be due to have a bad game throwing the football. As I said, there's only one of two ways this game really goes. It's probably a complete 45-10, or maybe it comes all the way down to a last-second drive. But I'm going to take the 17 points here. I'm going to take West Virginia plus 17 to make this a game, because I don't like Spencer Rattler, and I don't know how good this Oklahoma team really is. Maybe they put it all together, and maybe we get curb stomped here, and I'm losing this bet. This one-unit wager's out the window. But as I said, I'm taking some bets. I'm taking some chances. I'm making some proclamations here that people may not like. You may not like it. You can fade or follow if you want. You may not like this bet. You may not like my UFC bets. But this is where my money's going, all right? I'm taking the 17 points. West Virginia plus 17 on the road at Norman for 1 full unit. 16.5 is available right now at DraftKings and other books here in Vegas and whatnot. I bought it up to 17 just to be safe. I don't like buying half a points. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it, okay? You can rip me for breaking my own rule. Say, Matt, if they win, you're giving up 15 cents of value by doing this when you didn't need it because you're just saying if it does go your way, it's going to be a close game. Maybe. But this is where maybe it's a backdoor opportunity for us, or maybe it's a push opportunity for us. And I think 17 points is a lot of points, okay? It's a lot of points. Oklahoma's capable of doing it, we think. Are we sure? I don't know how good Oklahoma is. 17 points. Take it. West Virginia plus 17 on the road at Norman, Oklahoma for 1 full unit. We'll have a bunch more college football bets obviously going. All right, let's talk about UFC 266, Volkanovski against Ortega. Before we get to the main event, let's talk about a line that I simply don't understand. Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. The last time we saw Nick Diaz fighting was a long time ago, more than 6 years ago. He fought Anderson Silva in January of 2015. That was the last time we saw Nick Diaz. I was kind of covering the UFC then, but I was just moving to Vegas, and I mean, man, this is a long time to be out. And I mean a long time. He's 38 years old. He brings a gigantic name. Nate and Nick Diaz, they are royalty with UFC fans. The crowd is going to be behind Nick Diaz. Robbie Lawler, I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that Robbie Lawler is this dude that, oh my gosh, he's 28 and 15. These dudes are both old. They're both in their late 30s. Robbie Lawler he's lost his last 4 fights. Okay, lost to Neil Magny, lost to Colby Covington, lost to Ben Askren, lost to Rafael Dos Anjos. I mean, he's just been losing. And so the company gives him kind of a farewell fight. Okay, this is the farewell fight for Robbie Lawler. He's lost 5 of 6 overall. Great career, but this is pretty much it, right? I mean, this is his last fight. It's time to go. Why is Nick Diaz minus 110? The line opened up at minus 125 for Robbie Lawler. It's now minus 110 across the board as Nick Diaz money has come in. This I don't understand. I know that Dominic Cruz oftentimes talks about there's no such thing as ring rust, right? How about 6 years retirement rust? How about opening up a cannabis company and videotaping on Instagram you blazing constantly? Constantly. I don't get this. This is not Nate. This is Nick. 6 years of being away from active fighting. You might say Robbie Lawler's 39 years old, Matt, and he's got, 15 losses but what? What is going on? I'm only laying minus 110 to get a dude who's been active in the UFC, not entirely, way active, but way more active than he last fought in August of 2020. That was the last time Robbie Lawler fought. Nick Diaz in 2015 fought. I don't know, man. I get it. The Diaz brothers are just nuts. They're wacko. They're crazy. But I can't bet money on Nick Diaz. What are you, nuts? It's only a half a unit. It's minus 110. I'm taking Robbie Lawler on the money line. It doesn't matter. I don't have to worry about submission. I don't need to worry about finishing. I don't need to worry about anything except on the cards. Just Robbie Lawler win the fight. Okay? 3-round fight. Robbie Lawler win the fight. That's all I got to worry about. Minus 110, half a unit. Robbie Lawler beats Nick Diaz. It seems too easy. Maybe I'm dead wrong. I'm not awesome at betting UFC. You guys know this. I love doing it, but I'm not awesome at picking these fights. That's why I bet half units on the fights, because I'm not great at it. But half unit, Robbie Lawler beats Nick Diaz at minus 110. Now, the main event. Let's talk about Alexander Volkanovski up against Brian Ortega. T-City. Man, there's a lot to talk about here for this fight. Alexander Volkanovski fought Max Holloway twice. The second time, I'm not so sure he won. Okay? The judges, I don't know. The loss to Max Holloway for T-City really did derail things for him. He did bounce back and beat Korean Zombie, which is pretty impressive. But the one thing that is really interesting about this fight is that Brian Ortega is really hittable. His numbers are not good. 6.28 strikes absorbed per minute. That cannot happen here against Alexander Volkanovski. This fight will not go the distance. He will lose this fight. He will get knocked out. Okay? That will happen if he is going to get hit like that. If he stands in front of Volkanovski and just tries to trade, I don't know, man. Ortega's got more power. Definitely has more power. In this weight class, he's got more power. But my goodness, Volkanovski is a tough dude with those leg kicks. He is a brawler. He is a former rugby player, like we know, and he just takes punishment. He's really hard to clean out and get out. Max Holloway couldn't do it. But I just have a sneaking suspicion that this is Brian Ortega's time. Now, I may have something on the total on this fight a little bit later on. I haven't made up my mind yet about this, but the books are kind of telegraphing a little bit that they don't think this goes to the cards. Okay, the way that they're juicing up the under 4.5 rounds is that they kind of think this thing does not go to the cards. I think Volkanovski's best chance of winning this fight is to go to the cards, but I think Ortega's got the real potential to stop this fight, to stop with his jiu-jitsu, getting Volkanovski on the ground, out-wrestling him, getting him down, and mauling him. I think that that's the way to beat this guy. I don't think you can stand and bang with Volkanovski. I really don't. He's an incredibly strong guy at this weight class in the featherweight division. He's really difficult to take down. His takedown defense is really, really good. He's a guy who 72% takedown defense. Not easy to get him down. But I think they're going to have to get him down. I think this is where the fight's got to go if you're going to see a win here for T-City. Now, a lot of people are taking the champ, okay? And I understand it. You're going to lay minus 160, 170, 175, somewhere on there. If we see in the first round, if we see T-City just standing there and trading with Volkanovski, I'm going to be really concerned. Because, again, Volkanovski is a hard-headed guy. He's tough to knock out. He's tough to get out of there. Ortega takes too many hits. He's way too hittable. So, to me, that's my number one concern is that you don't want to see him absorbing a bunch of punches early in this fight against Volkanovski. I would be very curious to see what Volkanovski does if a takedown happens, but I think that's Ortega's key to victory here. But I also think that there's a chance the fight could go to the distance and maybe we see the best of T-City. It's his time, all right? It's his time to win this. Volkanovski had 2 big fights against Max Holloway. This dude has been on a 20-fight win streak. It's insane what this dude has done. He's 22-1. Average fight time is 15:09 because of how many championship fights this guy has had now with Jose Aldo and Max Holloway. But the company has been waiting for Brian Ortega. It has been waiting. This dude, T-City, has been a fan favorite for a long time. T-Mobile Arena is going to be absolutely behind Brian Ortega to win this thing. That's not to say that Volkanovski can't win, all right? I'm not trying to disrespect the guy at all. He's been tremendous. But I'm going to take the plus money here at plus 155. Brian Ortega to win the featherweight title. Rocking atmosphere. These guys, fights have been happening without any crowds or any emotion. I think it just bleeds in here. He's such a fan favorite. I think Brian T-City Ortega gets his hand raised, and I'm going to take the plus 155 on the money line here for a changing and new featherweight champion in Brian T-City Ortega at plus 155 at Circa. You can get that. Shop around, find some value there, but I just think there's value on Ortega at plus 155. Again, I may have more on this fight a little bit later on, but I'm going to this fight. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to be there at T-Mobile Arena. And, man, this is going to be a ton of fun. Now, there are other title fights here in Shevchenko's fight. We'll get into that a little bit later on. I may have something on Valentina. Lauren Murphy is just in trouble. Like anybody against Valentina is in trouble. I mean, she is just so good at this division. At the flyweight division, it's like good luck trying to beat her. So we'll probably figure something out, but there's no real, at the moment, the value just is kind of sucked out of this fight. But I probably will have something else on this fight. And then I also may have something here for some of the undercard fights. There are some decent fights on this card overall. It's a good pay-per-view card. Overall, some decent women's fights that are on this. 2 title fights, like I mentioned, with Shevchenko and Volkanovski defending their belts. So for the first two bets here. We're taking Ortega at plus 155 money line and Robbie Lawler money line minus 110, half a unit on both those wagers. And we're taking plus 17 for West Virginia on the road at Oklahoma to keep this game within 3 scores. Maybe we get a backdoor cover. I mean, as I said, we could see this game coming down to the wire, or maybe it's like a 45-10 blowout and Oklahoma just kills West Virginia. I'm going with the prior, with a hard-fought game that West Virginia is in and maybe putting a scare into Oklahoma. I'm taking the 17 points, and maybe we get a backdoor cover if I'm dead wrong about that, and maybe West Virginia comes in and gets us a plus 17. It's a lot of points in a Big 12 football game, given that Oklahoma has not looked great, and West Virginia can score. They can't stop anybody. You want to bet the over? Don't hate a play on the over either here, by the way, on this game. You guys know how I feel about totals right now. I'm trying to stay away from betting totals and just talking about the sides in West Virginia plus 17 at Oklahoma. My name's Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Each and every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast right here on BettingPros.com. Always being brought to you by BetMGM.